Ever feel like you're on the outside looking in? Like the world has already decided who you are based on where you live or how much money your family has? If so, then you've got to hear about a book that captures that feeling perfectly, The Outsiders by Hinton. Welcome back to the channel, book lovers. Today, we read diving into a story that's as powerful now as it was when it was first written. We're talking about the Greasers and the Socs, two rival gangs from opposite sides of the tracks in 1960s Oklahoma. Our narrator is Ponyboy Curtis, a 14-year-old greaser who's smarter and more sensitive than most of his crew. He lives with his two older brothers, Derry and Soda Pop, after their parents died in a car accident. Derry is the tough, overworked guardian, always pushing Ponyboy to do better. Soda Pop is the handsome, happy-go-lucky middle brother, the glue that holds their fractured family together. The Greasers are a tight-knit family of friends. There's the wisecracking two-bit, the tough, and angry Dally Winston, who just got out of jail, and Steve Randall, Soda Pop's best friend. But at the heart of the group, and at the heart of our story, is Johnny Cade. Johnny is the gang's pet, a small, nervous kid from an abusive home. He was once jumped by the Socs and beaten so badly that he now lives in a constant state of fear. The Socs, short for socials, are the rich kids from the West Side. They drive fancy cars, wear nice clothes, and seem to have everything. To the Greasers, they represent a world of privilege and entitlement. The tension between these two groups is like a powder keg, always one spark away from exploding. And that spark comes one night at the drive-in. Ponyboy and Johnny strike up a conversation with two Socs girls, Cherry Valance and Marcia. They discover that, despite the money and the clothes, being a Soc isn't perfect either. Cherry tells Ponyboy, "Things are rough all over." It's a moment of connection across the divide, a hint that maybe they aren't so different after all. But this fragile peace is shattered later that night. Walking home through a park, Ponyboy and Johnny are cornered by a group of drunk Socs, including Cherry's boyfriend, Bob. They're furious that the Greasers were talking to their girls. The confrontation escalates quickly. One of the Socs starts drowning Ponyboy in a fountain. Panicked and terrified, seeing his friend about to be killed, Johnny does the unthinkable. He pulls out a switchblade, the one he started carrying after he was beaten up, and he stabs Bob, killing him. In an instant, their lives are changed forever. The other Socs flee, and Ponyboy and Johnny are left in stunned silence, standing over Bob's body. Terrified of the consequences, they run to the one person they think can help, Dally Winston. Dally, who knows the system all too well, gives them money, a loaded gun, and a plan. He tells them to hop a train and hide out in an abandoned church in a town called Windricksville. Alone and on the run, Ponyboy and Johnny cut and dye their hair to disguise themselves, severing the last visible tie to their greaser identity. They pass the time reading Gone with the Wind and watching the sunrise. It's during one of these sunrises that Ponyboy recites a Robert Frost poem, "Nothing Gold Can Stay," which resonates deeply with Johnny. Johnny sees the gold in the sunrise, in innocence, and in the goodness of the world, and he fears it's all slipping away. After about a week, Dally shows up. He takes them out to eat and brings news from home. The Greasers and Socs are set for an all-out rumble to settle the score once and for all. He also brings a letter from Soda Pop, a reminder of the home Ponyboy desperately misses. Cherry Valance has become a spy for the Greasers, feeling a sense of responsibility for what happened. It's Johnny who decides they have to go back and turn themselves in. He can't stand the thought of Ponyboy being a fugitive for the rest of his life. Dally, who has been hardened by prison and knows the brutality of the justice system, is furious. He doesn't want Johnny to end up like him. As they drive back towards the church, they see it's on fire. And worse, a group of schoolchildren who are on a picnic are trapped inside. Without a second thought, Ponyboy and Johnny run into the burning building to save the kids. They manage to get all the children out, but just as they're escaping, a flaming piece of the roof collapses on Johnny, breaking his back and leaving him with severe burns. Dally is also injured while pulling Johnny from the flames. Suddenly, the boys who were seen as criminals are hailed as heroes. But the heroism comes at a terrible cost. Johnny is in the hospital, in critical condition. The story of the Greaser-Socs conflict, the stabbing, and the heroic rescue becomes front-page news. Ponyboy is reunited with his brothers, and the threat of being sent to a boys' home looms over them. The rumble is still on. Despite their injuries, Dally and Ponyboy decide they have to fight. They fight for Johnny. The Greasers win the rumble, but it's a hollow victory. It changes nothing. Immediately after the fight, Dally grabs Ponyboy and they rush to the hospital to see Johnny. His condition has worsened. They tell him they won the rumble, but Johnny doesn't care about that anymore. He looks at Ponyboy and in a weak voice, whispers his final words. Stay gold, Ponyboy. Stay gold. And with that, Johnny Cade, the gentle, frightened boy who became a hero, is gone. Johnny's death is the breaking point. It's the moment that changes everyone, especially Dally, who saw Johnny as the one good thing in a broken world. But that's a story for our next video. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touches you, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the conclusion to this incredible story. See you next time.